I think what's going to happen after all the testing, so if we were to like hands down, no question, S tier is Fate Singer, right? That epic strike is probably like the best in the game at the moment. That just that one spell that you can just blast every 2 seconds, right? This, whatever it's called, strike a chord. As a caster, now obviously I'm only looking at it as a spellcaster. This is not true for ranged or not true for melee, but for a spellcaster. So if you can make this tree work to get this in, I think it's phenomenal. And I'm kind of tempted to do it because it gives us a lot of really great stuff, like lower spell threat. We get double damage on it. We get +1 all ability scores and saves. We get a fascinate, no save, 5% of the things that hit us. We get a boost to the skills that would boost my UMD significantly. But what's against that, so I think that's definitely like S tier as far as the strike itself. If we were to just look at the strike and forget everything else, absolutely. I was also impressed enough with the Shirati strike. I wouldn't say that it's S tier. It's probably A. Just because it's 6 seconds, an AoE cone in front of you. The hitbox sucks because it's hard to see it, but it does hit. My DCs on it were not that high, and I was still able to get the daze, the blind, and the silence effect to hit. It doesn't last that long. It's only 3 seconds, but still, it was enough that I could hit a few slots in a row with the Phalite effect. And for 2 spell points or whatever it costs to cast it, there's also a lot of really good stuff in Shirati that you get, but just on the strike itself, I would say that's probably an A tier strike. It's AoE every 6 seconds, and it does 3 CC effects. Like, that's awesome. So it's actually like upper A. The thing that pulls it out of S tier is the fact that the hitbox sucks. Like, if they made it so that you could actually see it better, like color spray, or if it hit like dragon breath, then it would probably be S tier. But it's not the way it plays. And then a bunch of the other ones were really good. It's just the problem is that, like, Magus is a great example. This is good, but one of the things it has against it is that they shoot like rays. So the hitbox on it is subject to, if the monster moves even like a little bit out of so if you're trying to shoot this person here and you've got a line of sight to it, if this thing moves like around here and you're already in the middle of the cast, the ray that you're shooting is just going to shoot off into space ahead of you and you're not going to hit them. So that's one of the things that pulls away from me. Like, I would probably say this is like a B tier. That doesn't mean that it's bad though. And when you upgrade it, it probably goes to A or even S, because I know that these eventually like stun and paralyze and stuff, but it's an awful lot to get up this tree to buy into those upgrades later. So if we just look at like the what I'm ranking here is this like original upgraded, I would say it's probably like low A or B. And that's purely because it's only 6 seconds, it's only one target, and you can miss. I think one of the worst was probably Shadow Dancer, and again, it's not that it's the thing it's got against it is it doesn't start until this second row here, which is level 23, and then it's 8 seconds. It shoots like a lightning bolt, so it can get hit. You know, you can hit the environment, and then the debuff Shadow Loss doesn't stack on itself. It's just one thing that ticks off for 5 minutes, and it's not enough that makes the force damage really, like, it doesn't double the force damage that you do or anything like that. So if you're in a group, yeah, it'd be good to have like somebody throwing out Shadow Loss, but for soloing or, you know, running in like a short group, I think there's just other things that would probably be more useful. And then we're in the same situation we were in Magus, is that you can make it a lot better if you buy up, but it's just too expensive. And as you buy it up, it probably goes up in tier, you know, to A tier. And maybe when you fully upgrade it, it becomes S tier, but just itself, no, I think it's like B tier. It's probably arguably. And then I think the worst one for all the tests was the macro tech one, which I would rate as a C. And again, it's not, if you upgrade it or whatever, add the stun to it later, that's probably great. But the biggest issue with it, at least with the Sonic one, I haven't tried the Lightning one, so this may be different. I probably should try it, but the Sonic one centers on you. So if you're trying to attack this person over there and you cast it, it just centers it right here. So it completely misses. That it just, you, in order to hit with it, you actually have to like go right up to them and hit. And you know, if you're on a squishy caster like me, it's a great way to die. So I would never. So for me, that's a C tier. I would never use that. So what's going to pull us back to Exalted Angel, though, is what it has that is S tier, which is this angelic charge. That is so hard to beat. So hard to beat this in terms of, like, it really makes everyone who gets it better. And I don't think that one Epic Destiny should have anything that super strong. It's almost like every Destiny needs to have it, or they should just give it to you in epics, like either as a feat that anybody could take, or like everyone gets it at like level 30 or something. You know, it's the fact that you have to like specifically use this one tree to get it. So we want to get it. So that's what we're going to do. So likely the new epic strike that I replace Carrion Swarm with, because Carrion Swarm now is garbage, it's going to be Sun Pillar. I'm picking that over fire just because some things don't take fire damage. Everything takes light damage, pretty much. Not everything, but most everything. We'll take our reduced spell threat. We'll take our Echoes of Power. I could take Stand and Be Judged. I could. But I don't really care about it on this particular character. I do want this because this will give me spell power and a little bit more defensive stuff. I also would want this because this will make my saving throw, my will saves no fail. I think that's probably more useful to me. And then, so there's that. I need Necro DCs if I can get them. Okay, so there they are. And so I have 4 points left. We'll finish this. And then probably this would give me more negative amp. That's always good. This is useless unless I was churning undead, which I'm not. I could take an SLA. Likely, probably. I wouldn't ever take Flame Sphere. The Sunbolt in this isn't as good as the one that Favorite Souls get. So probably I would take this just as a heal to have. And if I were using it myself, I would probably just use it to like gather up all my hirelings. Like if I had like 5 hirelings out, just gather them all together and just throw this heal on them. But likely I'm not going to use that. What I'll take is this light resistance because I'm a lich. I take more light damage. So I'll just I'll get an extra 10%, the stacking 10 light resist there. So we do get a lot of good stuff. No spell threat, Echoes of Destiny or Echoes of Power, whatever they call it. That's really good as for a caster. Any caster would benefit from that. This is why we're here. This is a decent epic strike right out of the box. Every 6 seconds, it does pretty decent damage. No fail on a will save. That's solid. Necro DC is solid. This here is just okay, but Obviously, if I had the points, this character only has 65 points. If I had the points, I would go up and get this, which would give my Epic Strike a trip, a blind, and a stun. But I don't have the points to go up and get that. So we're just going to basically have to see how it does just on its own. But now, now we can take... We can use our wings. Right? Which this is... I mean, come on, this is huge. This is like... If anything is S tier, these wings are S tier, right? Like, this is probably arguably one of the best things that you can get out of the entire Epic Destiny. Because it gives you the wings that the favorite soul usually gets. And everybody uses them. That's the other thing. The other reason why you want them is because, not just because you want to zip around. That's great in itself. But it's because if you pug, everybody else is using them and zipping around. So you can't keep up unless you have them. And yeah, if you go fully, like, high enough up in this tree, you can get a heal on them. So they actually become really useful. So I do really like the Exalted Angel tree. I did a test with the Wrathful Aura, the mantle, and it was really good. I can see it being like a really great Warlock mantle because it adds to your aura. So it's certainly something I would use if all of a sudden Primal Avatar went away and I needed to pick another. I probably would be in Exalted Angel Wrathful Aura on my Warlock.
At the end of the passage ahead, you can see a fortress floating in the silvery mists of the
Yeah, right. Well, here I am. So this is, we're take a look. This is the Epic Strike. Look at that. 5,400 light damage, and it's up every 6 seconds. 2,400. I mean, it's just solid. I don't have to worry about the direction. Like, look, I can hit him. Like, let's see how far away. Like, I have him over there. I'm looking like this way. Can I still hit him with it? Yep. Still can hit him with it. So, like, we don't have to worry about the hitbox. It's just a completely different universe of experience. Like, we can just basically... We know that we cast it. That one double hit. So what happened, I think that procced my mantle. Really cool. And we can see the hit, how superior, if anything makes these like pillars S tier, or at least A tier, but I think they're S tier, is the fact that I can be looking this way and he's up there and I can cast it and see that it still hit him. Like, that is so good. You don't have to worry about accidentally missing. So, you know, in the game, sometimes things run around and you can't see, but you just throw a cast. And at least you know that it, like, it hits what you know, as long as you have it hard targeted. And for my build, because I'm in the heart, you know, because I want the extra heals... it's going, every time I do this, it's going to have a chance to proc because my mantle procs on fire, light, or alignment spells, right? So I do it because I use Cocoon and I have a lot of like positive healing in my build, even though I'm undead. When I run around with like my, you know, my hirelings, if I'm soloing and I have a bunch of hirelings out, they all benefit from that. You know, they all benefit from that. So if I have like a cleric hire, the cleric hire gets my heart mantle, and anytime the cleric casts a heal, it has a chance to throw out a rejuvenation cocoon. So it just makes soloing with hirelings a lot stronger. And now, with this pillar as my new epic strike, I can actually benefit from having my mantle proc, which I was not getting with using Carrion Swarm. Carrion Swarm was just busted. Like, it was so good. that it was worth
Both
using,
levers pull.
even though it
The
wasn't,
fortress's
you know,
barrier collapses in
optimized.
upon itself, revealing the passage beyond.
Storm Singer Summoner. I have a Storm Singer Summoner. I did not see the one that somebody posted today. I'm not sure what they did different. Tell me about it. Like, what is it? I'll take a look at it, but
A wave of energy washes
what's the
from the
gist of
small
it? Are
tower as
they...
the barrier blocking the entrance is disrupted.
Okay, so they're summoning. So are they Primal and Magus, basically? Because I'm assuming what they're doing is they have like an army of minions, and then they're singing and giving them all the proc of the lightning on all the minion attacks. Yeah, right. And plus the shared mantle. Like, I'm sure it's awesome. Especially if they don't even need Magus, to be honest with you, because that's just going to be super strong. I mean, I don't ever call it that, but technically my builds are all minion builds, technically, because the Heart Guardian that I use is technically like a minion that I use to, you know, try to get a lot of survivability from. Although, ironically, I got obliterated instantly in the one that I'm going to use as my main. I just got that was a storm of unlucky circumstance right there. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I got hit. Yeah, the pernicious platinums bludgeoned me, and then I also got hit by slobber. And you know, I only have 1,200 or 1,400 hit points, so they didn't go after the Guardian because I was talking. I probably hadn't cast it yet. Usually they go after the Guardian. Exactly. I still, you know what though? I mean, even though we died, I still feel like it's arguably like the best choice just because of this. If Angelic Charge wasn't here, I'd do Fate Singer, hands down. That would be a no-brainer because that's was the next one in line for being like super strong. It just adds so much. Like it greatly enhanced my UMD. It boosted all of my stats, and it just made like that strike every 2 seconds. That it's just so insane. I'm sure somebody's going to come up with a build for that specifically. But yeah, minion builds. I don't know if you guys have played Diablo 4, but I just watched Blizzard's they do like these campfire talks, and they went over the changes for Blizzard's Diablo 4 Season 4 that's coming out in May. And all the changes look great. Like, all the changes to the game look amazing. And it sounds like they actually listen. They actually listen to people who've been saying, like, you know, because a lot of people are playing Last Epoch right now, which is very similar. And all of the good things from Last Epoch. And then, obviously, there's, like, Path of Exile players who have been saying for years, you know, the differences that are. So it sounds like Diablo is actually like listening. Blizzard is listening. So I think I'm going to play, basically the short story here is I'm going to play Season 4 and probably going to do my Necro Minion build that I did for Season 1, and it was terrible because I couldn't kill boss. Like, my boss DPS was so low. It's why I stopped playing. It was super great all over the place, but when I got to a boss, I just couldn't kill the boss. So I just lost interest. I didn't want to waste my time. Like, the last night I played Diablo 4, which was a while ago, last year, I did a boss fight. It was like 45 minutes, and then I died right before the boss died, and then I had to start it over again. And I was like, I'm not doing that 45-minute fight over again just to almost, make it and then die. So I just uninstalled it. But it sounds like season 4, like I might actually be able to play my minion build. And so I'm excited about that. And so I think it's great if DDO actually has like a viable minion build. I think that's really cool. I mean, we've all heard in the, like the live streams that they do, one of the reasons that they don't go after and fix hireling AI is because they don't want them to get too strong and to play the game for us, right? The hirelings in DDO are stupid on purpose. And even so, like you can, using like I do with Primal Avatar, where you share your mantle with your hires, you can get some really good GPS out of them. So I think it's just definitely a great idea. Now, I don't subscribe to like developers changing a game just because 1% or less than 1% of the community is exploiting certain things. And I'm sure somebody somewhere will figure out a way that they can make their hirelings pop off and do like 100,000 damage each, and they'll be able to like clear it. The one thing you got to remember is you cannot use hirelings in raids anyway. So it's not like they'd ever have to worry about it. So I'm not so sure that they would ever go after minion builds anyway. But for the people who are like clearing R10s with them, I think they should be able to clear R10s with them. I don't see any problem with that. Like, if people want to play that way, because the other reality is there are people who do minion builds, but they're not NPC minions. They're actually on rolled up accounts and they're multi-boxing 5 other people. So they've got like, one main character and then 5 in tow that they have strung together on other computers. Or you don't even need another computer. You can just run 5 instances of the game behind your main one. And so then you have that. Like, how do you stop that? You can't, unless you limited the amount of like connections to the servers from an IP address or something like that. So I don't see a problem with it. I don't really care. If one dude wants to invest all the time to make a minion build and then go clear R10s, I think you should be able to do that.